And then there was Peter John Stokes.
Oh, that fellow.
What was he doing at that time
What was he doing?
in '68?
He was trying to do all kinds of things. I had the Galt City Hall project on in the late 60s. I was still consulting with National Historic Sites on various sites across the country. They paid my traveling expenses.
Were you alone, or did you have an office with several staff, or?
No, I was on my own.
So who did the administration? Write the checks, answer the letters?
Oh yes, I'm not sure who.
Did you have a secretary or an assistant? Or?
Well, I had a secretary that I inherited from St. Mark's Church in Niagara at that time. I did have, that was Kathleen Courtney, who died last year. I had a small staff.
You were based in Niagara-on-the-Lake at that time?
I had started up in Ottawa. I had an office on Sussex Drive, which we've been studying for the National Historic Site, National Capital Commission.
Yes, yes. The work that was done at that time by the NCC, and you were part of that work on Sussex Drive, was considered to be some of the pioneer conservation work done in Ottawa. At that time there was lots of rumors going on that the entire market would be destroyed, and
yes. Yeah. Well, they rebuilt one building, the one I was in, on the top floor. The bats used to fly in every night.
Wow.
And the thing is, I occupied half the top floor, and the other half was people used to pour the tea bags down the john, and they'd plug it up all the time. So I decided to, as soon as they moved out, I'd rent it. Then I discovered, to my horror, I was going to sublet it to somebody who was working for me. I discovered the place was absolutely infested with bed bugs. I couldn't get rid of them. And the end of that story. But that was torn down and rebuilt. It was the one with the arcaded windows on the top. It looked right out over Sussex Drive. And I remember I called the police one night because I heard things going on in the hardware store next door. And it was broken into at that time. I think they managed to catch them. I had to go to court, and I've never been more unpleasantly looked at. And they were, of course, French-speaking, not English-speaking.
And then you moved to Niagara-on-the-Lake from Ottawa?
In 1961, I was called out in the late fall to talk to the Chamber of Commerce because they were desperate as to what to do with Niagara-on-the-Lake. It was really in the doldrums, nothing moving. It was really dead commercially and so forth. And I suggested to them they might sort of go ahead and try out some reenactments of things that had happened there. One of the principal quotations was Mrs. Simcoe's about the subscription balls they held during the season. And there was a great deal of gauze, feathers, and velvet, and there was supper as well as tea. So the Historical Society took this up, and they ran the Simcoe Ball for many years, very successfully. They took in quite a lot of money in these things, and then they started up something, a sort of cocktail thing. I've forgotten what they called it, but they also had that. Anyway, I was called out, as I say, by the Chamber of Commerce. And so then I found myself getting work in the area. I was involved in getting a land use map for the township of Niagara at that time, which was centered in Belgium. And I started work on that. Then I got all kinds of calls. Well, in 65, 64, I was called to look at St. Mark's Anglican Church. They had a crack in the ceiling. We discovered it been, as I say, held up in Providence since 1822. But, and we did a lot of work on that. Then I was given a commission, and a very unusual thing, but